also be fielding any questions and comments. So if you have questions for us, either about Parent Road Ministries or about the books we write or about me as an author, feel free to put those in the comments below. I want to say a big thank you to my sister Holly Peart, who's fielding questions on, she's speaking into some of these cameras. She's fielding questions for one of our Facebook feeds, and my friend Gail Young is fielding questions for the other. So if you hear a voice asking questions, that's actually coming from my sister Holly. She's voicing your questions for you. So feel free to post those in the comments below. Again, I'm Nancy Ruth from Parent Road Ministries. Since it's our birthday, I thought it'd be fun for me to share with you a bit about how Parent Road Ministries started. Excuse me, I have to unlock my phone. Say hi, Holly.
Hi, guys.
This is my sister Holly. She's amazing.
I'm not dressed for a live stream, but whatever. I am rocking my cool shirt from Washington, D.C.
Yeah, she's great.
I'm her moral support.
She is. She's amazing. She helped me set up this wonderful background for us. There we go. Okay, so you should be able to scroll down and answer questions and voice your questions for us. So let me tell you how Parent Road Ministries started. Our goal with Parent Road Ministries is to provide Bible studies for busy families. I'm a children's minister. I've actually worked with kids since I wasn't a kid myself in the church where I grew up. When you graduated from 6th grade, you could be an assistant teacher in Vacation Bible School. And so that's what I did beginning in 7th grade. In 9th grade, I actually had my own class. I was the lead teacher. It was pretty exciting. And by my senior year in high school, it's kind of a funny story. They gave the announcement and said that the lady who was organizing Vacation Bible School and had been for years and years decided it was somebody else's turn and she was stepping back. And they said, so if you're interested, we have the sign-up sheet so you can sign up to teach, but there's also a box to check for if you want to help organize this whole thing. Well, that announcement was beginning of service, and I have no idea what we talked about in service because all I could think about was that announcement. And finally, I kept saying, well, they won't accept me. I'm 17. Forget that. But the idea wouldn't go away. So I finally checked both teacher and willing to organize. And I thought, I'm 17. They'll never call me. And I ended up on this committee. So that was my first experience behind the scenes leading children's ministry stuff. I was on a committee of 3. It was me, a lady with preschool children, and a lady with preschool grandchildren as well. So that was pretty neat. After that, I ended up going to a Christian university. I got a degree in children's ministry. Actually, it was educational ministry of all ages, and that works. Then I ended up going to seminary in Fort Worth and got your standard pastor's degree, which is called a Master of Divinity. After that, I worked in a church in Florida. It was actually a mega church and worked with hundreds of kids. There were thousands of people in the church. This was really interesting because when I was in seminary, I was working with a guy who created this program for preteens. And what he discovered was preteens have amazing gifts to give to the church, especially if they are given a chance and discipled and they are given opportunities to serve. It's amazing the way God uses these young people, these kids. And it totally changed my idea of what kids can and cannot do. So it was really interesting then going into Florida because I brought that same program with me to Florida and we started it. And it was amazing because as with any new program, it took a while to get going. But when it did, the kids were doing wonderful things. And it was so amazing to see kids counseling other kids about how to accept Christ and sharing the gospel with their friends. Kids serving in the church. It was really exciting. So I've taken that and I try to incorporate some challenges similar to that you can do as a family into our Bible studies. Those are called On the Road Family Challenges. And they're not quite as extreme as, okay, go out and share the gospel with 10 people. My assumption is parents aren't quite ready for that, and neither are kids without training. But what you do see in these studies is little things that you can do to kind of step outside your comfort zone and try something new and just see what God does. So also while I was there, I had a lot of requests for helping families find family Bible studies. And at the time, there weren't really any. There were baby Bibles and there was New Christian Materials, and that was it for kids. And there are a lot of really good curriculums out there, but some of them tend to major on character traits rather than discipleship, drawing closer to the Lord and that kind of thing. And all curriculums are different, and you'll have to evaluate your own yourself. But I had this idea in my head looking for these things. The other thing that happened in Florida was that these kids were being discipled and challenged and growing in their faith, and parents were coming to me saying, my kids are deeper spiritually than I am. How am I supposed to do a Bible study at home? What is there for us to do? After that church in Florida, I moved to Colorado, and I was in a little bitty church restart. We were at what you call a set-up tear-down church, where we met in a high school, and every Sunday we had to set up church and all our stuff and our signs and move furniture and things. We had church, and then we tore it all down and turned it back into a school again so that it was ready for school Monday morning. And in this church, there were a lot of families who did not grow up in the church. So the whole family is coming to church new and fresh, and the parents are like, okay, well, I know I'm supposed to disciple my kids, so how do I do that? And there was no materials for them either, where they could learn alongside their kids. And each family's at a different level. And so what I had an opportunity to do was to look and see what was out there at the time and see a need for a way to disciple children, whether you've been in church and you're a seasoned Christian yourself and are looking for something for your kids, or whether you're a new Christian and are just starting with this stuff and are looking for a way to disciple, or, maybe this is a young child who, or I should say a young preteen who's looking for discipleship materials for themselves that they could do with a friend. So that's how Parent Road Ministry started, was this burden to provide something between the baby Bibles and the New Christian materials and the adult discipleship materials. So we're trying to fit that gap in the middle. Also, when I had, after I had written the answer book, which was our first set of books, this is actually 2 books, the answer book devotional, and this is actually being re-released under a new publisher. And so we are working to get out of stock on this. So that's why if you go to our store, it will say while supplies last, because after that, there will be a new cover and a new publisher. But this is a devotional, and this is the accompanying small group guide. This small group guide, I'll look at this a little bit deeper. I want to finish this story, and then I'll come back to this. But this is keeping in mind those parents that are discipling the kids, or groups that wanted to do all together, or something where you had the adults and children separate. So it's a pretty flexible guide, and we'll get into that in a bit. So I know my friends here are collecting questions, so keep putting your questions in the comments below. Whoops, there goes my book. I'll get it in a minute. So when I started this ministry, I had written those 2 books, and then I felt like I needed to do some more school. So I actually went and got a second master's degree in what's called apologetics. Apologetics is defending and explaining what Christians believe. So it's learning what other religions believe, so you can kind of see the spillover into American culture or whatever culture you're in. But then also recognizing, okay, this is different from the Bible, and here's what the Bible says, and here's this. But not just here's what the Bible says, but thinking logically through these things as well. So yes, you're looking at the Bible as your standard, but you're also using the brain that God gave you to think through these issues and see, Christianity it is a leap of faith, but it's not just a leap of faith. It makes sense too. And so trying to figure that out as well. So I'm trying to get this book here. Sorry. There we go. I told you a little bit about this one. This is called the Answer Book. The devotional and the small group guide can work together or separately. The different topics in here, the devotional is set up to be 7 weeks with 5 what I call full day devotionals and 2 half-day devotionals that are optional, and that's really just how much space it takes up on the page. It covers topics like, what is a worldview? Is there only one truth? Why spend time with God? Who are the people that God can use? Who is Jesus? How can you be changed? And how can a family follow God? So those are the weekly topics, and each day of the week kind of builds on each other to increase with that. This small group guide covers those same 7 topics. My sister's checking the camera over here. That was really funny, having a little cameo there. So the small group guide covers those same 7 topics, but in 1 lesson a week rather than 1 a day with weekly themes. So this small group guide, the first half is written for children's groups or multi-generational groups, and the second half is designed for adults. If you want to see more of a walkthrough of either one of these, they're on our website. If you go to parentroadmin.com, there'll be a tab there that says Bible Studies, and you can click on any of these to look at. We're working on some virtual flip-throughs. Only these two are posted right now, but we're working on ones for the other books as well. I'm going to push pause and ask my sister here, are there any comments or questions I need to answer yet?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Be sure if you have a question to put it in the comments below. We're so glad that you've joined us. If you missed the introduction, I'm Nancy Ruth. I'm with Parent Road Ministries, and I've been a children's minister and worked with kids for a long time. I won't say my age, but let's see. I've been working with kids over 25 years, and I've been a children's minister for, I lost track. I don't know. I have to do the math. Probably about 10.
Well, really, you've been working with kids since I was born, so 2.5 years old.
Yeah. So unofficially, I've always loved kids.
Yeah.
My mother loves to tell the story of when they went to a mall when I was a toddler, and my little sister wasn't born yet, so I was probably about 1.5, 2. And, you know, we're walking, and I'm walking beside my own stroller, and I would walk up to other strollers and go, baby! So that was me. I just love kids.
Yeah.
Oh, my. I'm going to tell you about this over here next. One of the things I'm really excited about, speaking of working with kids, I'm serving as a children's minister at my church right now as well. And I typically don't say what church that is just because that's not important. It's a Christian church. Okay. One of the things we're doing, though, is we are going through, we've been learning some memory verses. And so this was one for this month. It's a long verse. This is Isaiah 53, verses 4 and 5. This is the one you hear a lot about Easter. He was pierced because of our rebellion and crushed because of our iniquities. Punishment for our peace was on him, and we are healed by his wounds. Talk about some tough words and concepts for kids, right? Not let alone trying to memorize words you don't even know what they mean. So what I did, and what I like to do most of the time, is I break it up into pictures. I don't know if you could see this, but this is one of the videos on our YouTube channel, so you can look that up, Parent Road Ministries on YouTube. And I do one picture per phrase, and I explain what the big words mean, and we practice, and we go through. So on this page, we would go through and review what we've learned so far and add the next part, so that by the very end, do I have that one? Here it is. By the very end, all we have is a reference with a whole bunch of pictures, and the kids can say the whole verse, which is pretty cool. Typically, they're not this long. It was this long because that's what it was in the curriculum we're using. So we didn't have much of a choice on that. And thankfully, the curriculum also had a song to go with that. I love the song. But those are one of the series that we do on our YouTube channel. Typically, the last Tuesday of the month, we have a new memory verse that goes along with that, and we review some old verses as well. This is really exciting, too. The kids at our church have been working on memorizing the books of the Bible, and a lot of you on the homeschool, the Top Picks Homeschool Curriculum Fair have loved this video series, and I've had some good feedback from it. So we use goofy memory tricks like this one. This is the books of poetry. I love this. And the idea is they're supposed to be silly enough to stick with you. So the sillier, the better. Okay. So this is the job of peas is providing excellent songs for Isaiah. Okay. So of course, job in the Bible is pronounced Job. Okay. And then peas is Psalms. Proverbs is providing. Excellent is Ecclesiastes. Songs is Song of Songs or Song of Solomon or Canticles. And Isaiah is not really a book of poetry, but he comes after the books of poetry. So we link that all together. So that's one of the memory tricks we use. It's called the Kids Bible Book Memory Plan. And I'm so excited. Today we released something brand new. It is the PDF study guide that goes along with these videos. So you can watch the videos on their own, and they're free. I don't know if you can see this picture through the screen, but the videos themselves are free. The study guide, there's a slight fee for the study guide on our website. But remember, today, everything is 50% off in celebration of our ministry birthday. Woohoo! So I'm so excited about that. It's nice having an actual person in the room, not just talking on the screen. So I'm really excited about this. In the study guide, there's the same pictures as are in the videos. So they still have those same memory tricks, and it can link with that. There's also opportunities for the kids to write out the books of the Bible, like the Old Testament review. It asks them, it says, write out all the books of the Bible, and it has the memory verse or the memory trick pictures on the side. Also, for each page, it includes at the bottom what book comes before Isaiah, what book comes after Ruth, and they have to think and try to think on their feet. Included in the video series, periodically we have what are called Bible Book Challenge videos, and that's a race against the clock. So I'm so glad we put this Bible up here because now I'm going to use it. It was just going to be a prop.
Those Gideons, thanks to the Gideons.
There you go.
In the hotel rooms.
Yes, Gideons put these in the hotel rooms, and we're using our hotel Bible for this shot. We're celebrating my nephew's birthday. So
graduation.
Thank you. Graduation. His birthday's later.
Yeah.
We're so excited and proud of him.
Yeah.
Graduation's really weird this year, by the way. Anyway, so the memory trick for the challenges. I teach them how to find the books faster. So we talk about how you open the Bible as close to the middle as you can get, and you'll be in Psalms or maybe Proverbs, and so you'll get really close to that. Then you open the left half in the middle, and you should get close to one of the Samuels. I ended up in 1 Samuel. So if you know if your book is before or after Samuel, then you can find it faster. And of course, we know what the first book is, Genesis, we talked about that, and the last book, Revelation. And then if you don't know this trick, if you open the left half in the middle, you should get really close to the Gospels. I ended up in Daniel, which is really close. There we go. There's Matthew. Okay, and we talk about in the videos how if you don't get it, you need to know what verses are around it. I mean, what books are around it so you can find it, and you can still find it faster. Those tricks are also in the study guide. Also in the study guide, we talk about there are 4 Gospels. Do they agree? Do they disagree? How does that work when they're not exactly the same? And we talk about what that means and how that works. That will also be in the video talking about memorizing the Gospels, which should be released in a few weeks. I've already filmed it, but our release schedules, we do a few weeks out. So since we're talking about YouTube, so that study guide is available on our website. It's 50% off today. I'm so excited. This is launch day for this study guide. So you have to let me know what you think. And included in there are Bible book cards that you can cut out and mix up and make a game out of that. And there's some game suggestions as well. Okay. Also on the YouTube channel are several different kinds of videos. On Mondays, I release the children's sermons. I'm sorry, there's someone vacuuming nearby.
Did we mention we're in a hotel?
Yes, we are in a hotel.
And I'm noticing that my cooler is in one of the shots that we put under that table there.
That's really funny.
Don't point it out.
I won't point it.
If you see it, share it.
That's funny. We've got all kinds of suitcases and things in here. So on Mondays, we release children's sermons. It's the children's sermons that I do for my church. They're typically between 45 seconds to 90 seconds. This past Sunday was a little bit longer because I needed help, and it was just funny. So you can kind of look at those if you like. That's also on the YouTube channel. Let me tell you about some other free resources on our website. And then I have, I want to put these aside so remember to tell you about our Christmas study and this one here too. So one of those things, this one's not free, but it's wonderful. This is How to Study the Bible for Kids. It's less than $1. Be sure to check it out. It uses, every kid wants to drive, right? Because they're not old enough to drive and they all want to do it. So it uses driving, especially the stoplight and checking surrounding traffic and the sirens and flashing lights to help you remember how to study the Bible well. This is just really exciting. So make sure you check that out. There's also a blog that'll link to. So if you go to the store and look for this, How to Study the Bible, read the description down below, and there's a link to a blog that explains what's on there. And then when you print it out, there's a bookmark that you can cut off, as well as some additional information like what do you do with the hard stuff and things like that. So that's a great resource in our store. Oh, here it is. Ha! I knew I was prepared. So this is the bookmark. I don't know if you can see it, but it's got a stoplight here. It's got traffic, and then it's got red light, yellow light, and green light. And then the other topics it covers is all about God, navigating the hard stuff, just do it, spiritual growth, and where to get more information. Okay, also on the website are what's called sermon notes for kids. These are very popular. I like them too. They're available in color or in black and white. It has things like, these are free. What is the main Bible passage that Pastor is talking about today? Circle the name of the book on this page, and they are the border around here is all the books of the Bible. You're supposed to circle it and then say if it's in the Old or New Testament. What is one thing the pastor said about God today? What is one thing the pastor said about people today? And then there's space to draw a picture, and this is designed to be blank on the back so that you can draw more on the back. And what's cool about this, at the bottom, there's a family action plan. So it says, ask each family member to share one thing they heard or did in today's service. And then, of course, you can answer questions as they come up. And number 2, reread today's scripture and review your sermon notes together. And then brainstorm ways you can put today's lesson into action this week and choose one to do as a family. So that's the sermon notes for kids. Again, I'm Nancy Roos from Parent Road Ministries. I'm so glad you joined us today. If you have questions, make sure you put it in the comments below. And my sister's here reading comments from one Facebook group. We're actually live streaming in 3 places right now. We're on the Top Picks Homeschool Curriculum Fair Facebook page. We're on the Parent Road Facebook page, and we're on the Parent Road YouTube channel. I'm so glad you joined us. If you're on Facebook, make sure you put any questions in the comments. And I've got Gail Young, thank you very much, and my sister Holly Pierce, thank you very much, reading those and working it out so that they can ask me your questions here live, and I can answer them for us here. If you're on YouTube, you can still put questions in the comments, but I'll have to wait till we're finished to answer your questions. I'm sorry. So this one is Cue Cards for Parents. This is typically for children's ministers, but I'll tell you about it. It talks about ideas of how to involve your kids in the service and what to do before the service. And also it's a reminder to people without kids that kids make noise, and really that's okay. Let's be realistic here, right? If you're looking for a church home or, a graduate, like my nephew just graduated, we have How to Choose a Church Home. This is free. It uses HOME, H-O-M-E, as an acrostic of things to look for when you're looking for a church home. It also, this is that bookmark you can cut off, and then the rest of it talks about cyber Christians, church shopping, why commit to one church, how to get plugged in. That's this one, How to Choose a Church Home. If you're kind of shy sharing the gospel, this might be really good for you. These are our Along the Road bookmarks. It's got a picture with Deuteronomy 6:5-7 on the front. And on the back, it has the road to salvation, which is pretty much the Romans road, but I tweaked it a little bit. And so it has the gospel on the back. And these are great to hand out. They're a free download. There's also some seasonal things in here. I'm looking for what's popular. They're all popular. I'm going to save some of this to talk about on our next live stream. Ooh, but this is good because it's summer. There's 50 summer ideas for kids learning about God. And it's 2 pages with pictures, and it's a PDF download with clickable links. It's wonderful. So if you're looking for ways to connect your kids and continue growing spiritually over the summer, look for this one as well. It's free. We also have what's called the E-Team. The E-Team is just our email newsletter. That's what we call members of our email newsletter, is their E-Team members. When you sign up for that, you get this guide, which is how to pray with power, talking about ways to talk about prayer with your kids. The E-Team also gets the inside scoop. I'm sending out a special E-Team exclusive about once a month, and that lets you know things that are happening before we actually broadcast them. Like they knew about that study guide in advance, which was nice. Speaking of prayer, I want to show this to you. This is 40 scriptures to pray over your children. We just did a giveaway on the Top Picks Homeschool Curriculum Fair with this. This is great. These are 1 to 3 minute prayers that you can easily fit in anytime. So I'm picturing like just before you walk out the doors for school, or if you're waiting in the car while somebody's at dance lessons or music lessons or sports or something, or even, just before bed or over meal times. These are really short, and I timed them all out loud to make sure that they really were 1 to 3 minutes. This is framed around the verse Luke 2:52. And Jesus increased in wisdom and stature and in favor with God and in favor with people. And those are the 4 divisions, and each one has 10 verses that we pray about. So we have wisdom, we have stature, which is physical things, favor with God, which is spiritual growth, and favor with people, which is how we treat others. There's also a picture in here of me writing this book. This is funny. To write this, I looked up all kinds of scriptures that I thought might fit these and printed them all out and cut them up into little cards, and I was sorting them all on the floor. People would walk in and go, "Oh, are you okay?" Like, I'm like, just don't touch anything. We didn't even let the dog in the room to mess up my cards until I had picked the 10 for each one. I just thought that was so fun. I included the picture here in the book. So that's what this is.
There is a question.
Oh, good.
From Angie Malizieux. I saw that some of the flyers that you are showing are free and some are not. What is for sale? Is it a book? How much?
Okay, that's a good question. And I have lost my little papers, but that's okay. Remember, everything is 50% off today for our birthday sale. We do this annually on June 10th, so it's not going to be around again until the next June 10th. Oh, I didn't tell you why we did that date. Holly, remind me to tell them why we picked June 10th.
Okay.
But I want to answer this question.
Okay.
Okay, so the smaller guides, trying to remember, I probably won't say it exactly right, but roughly, these are about $9.95 or $4.95. I remember, they're $9.95 for the paperback, and the ebook for this one is, I think it's $3.95. There's also ebook versions for the answer book, but both the small group guide and the devotional, but those are on Amazon, not on our website. We just have paperbacks from our website, but you're welcome to get them on Amazon. This one is available in print or ebook, so I think I said the prices on that. Waiting for Christmas, right, which I'm about to talk about, that one is only available as an ebook right now on our website and on Amazon. I believe this one is $3.95 as well. The study guide for the books of the Bible, the Kids Bible Book Memory Plan Study Guide, is 95 cents. And that does not include the 50% off discount. So we're talking under 50 cents for today only. So make sure you go check that out. How to Study the Bible. Wait a minute. How to Study the Bible is the one that's 95 cents. I'm sorry. How to Study the Bible is 95 cents. The study guide is $1.95. But if you buy 10 or more, then it's 95 cents. And then if you buy 25 or more, there's another price break. I believe it's 49 cents at that point. But you can just double check. I'm getting in the ballpark. I don't remember the exact figures. It would have been a good idea to put that in my notes for today.
But the basic is 50% off.
Yes.
Of everything.
Yes. So everything's 50% off today. And you don't even need a coupon code if you just go shopping today. If you are on the Top Picks Homeschool Curriculum Fair website, if you look at our vendor store, there is vendor coupon. You get a better deal for the 50% off today, but if you miss today's sale, that coupon is also available, that coupon code.
There's another question.
Oh, yes.
I don't know how to say your name. I'm going to say it with the Spanish, because it kind of looks Spanish, but Lobe Mira is asking, which translation are you using for your products, please? Or is it a few translations? Great question.
That is a great question. All of our studies, you can adapt and use whatever translation you like. I kind of bounce around a little bit. I try to stay somewhat consistent, but sometimes it's clearer in other translations. My favorites when I'm talking to the kids is either an NIV or an NIRV, but with all of these, I always include a note that says, if you prefer a different version of the Bible, feel free to use it. And in any of the small group guides like this, it says the scriptures at the beginning of the lesson so that you can look those up and have them bookmarked in advance. I did that with some of the devotionals, but offhand, I can't remember which one. I know it's done that way in the small group ones. But all of these are sensitive to that. The reason I picked those translations is because they just are clearer for children. But if you want to start them on the King James, you're welcome to use that one as well. Okay, this one is Waiting for Christmas. This is really neat because it's set up for 3 age levels. It's pretty much the same curriculum, but with activity level and discussion questions that go deeper as the kids get older. I didn't tell you age ranges on most of these. Most of the things that I do are written for the elementary age. I try to shoot for about 2nd or 3rd grade. but keeping in mind that there are younger kids and older kids there. The answer book is really for the small group guide and the devotional is set up where you can go as deep and as far as you like and as you're comfortable. And if you get the small group guide to go with it, this will equip you to answer some of these harder questions. But really, this would be better when they get into elementary school. If you have preschool children, I had a review that just came for the Kids Bible Book Memory Plan that her 5-year-old dearly loves it and is memorizing the books of the Bible on it. So that one's really for any ages. For preschool, this is good for any age, preschool and up. Then also this Waiting for Christmas has a preschool track, a children's track, and a preteen track. Typically, preteens are like 4th, 5th, 6th grade or so, or sometimes just 5th and 6th. And then preschool would be earlier than that. If you're watching from another country, the ages would be for preschool from about 4 to about 5, well, 3 to 5 or so. Children is about 6 to 9, sometimes 10, depending on your kid. And then preteen is typically 11 to 12, sometimes 13. Okay, so in this Waiting for Christmas, it follows the Advent wreath, if you're familiar with that. So there's 4 candles plus the Christ candle, but you wouldn't have to use a wreath to do this study. But traditionally, those candles and themes of the readings are about hope, peace, joy, love, and then Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. That's called the Christ candle that day. And there are ideas in here about ways to make your own Advent wreath, flameless one for preschoolers, which is always a good thing. But it also includes some apologetics in here. So it talks about things like, with hope, what kind of hope? Is it a wish for kind of hope, like I hope I get a pony for Christmas? Or is it a hold on to kind of hope? The kind of hope you can trust in, like hope in a parachute, that it would go off and work. So that's some of the things in here. The activities vary greatly between the age levels. The preschool used that song, Going on a Bear Hunt. Do you know that one? Going on a bear hunt. Going on a bear hunt. Gonna catch a big one. Gonna catch a big one. I'm not scared. I'm not scared. And we talk about how God is always with us. So I changed the words a little bit, and it's a lot of fun. And not for your preteens. Don't do that with your preteens. They would think you're nuts. That's okay. For the preteens, there's actually a science experiment in here that looks really, it's really fun. Oh, also free on our website and free included in here is what we call Advent readings for your church. And this is designed to be either in what in the children's ministry world we call big church, or in children's church, or even in a home or a classroom. And what's unique about this is it includes some of that apologetics with it, but it also gives speaking parts to the kids. How exciting is this, right? Kids never get to speak when they get up in front of church. Okay, that's a little exaggeration, but I still get really excited when kids get to speak. And so it's just set up saying adult child, so you can assign parts to your family no matter what your family is set up to be. And also included in here are some tips about working with kids and getting them ready to go up in front of a church and say stuff, because it's intimidating. So it talks about things like memorization and how to practice and get them used to the stage, get them used to the echo of the mic if they're using a mic and things like that. So that's Waiting for Christmas. One of the other things that we do in our studies is I take a memory verse for the study, usually not usually one a week, but I just kind of see how long it lasts. But I break it up where you're only adding about 2 or 3 words a day. So it makes it very easy to include in your study, and it makes it easier also to learn what it means as well as memorize it, because we talk about that as we add new words. We talk about what it means and we link it back to what came before. Okay, any other questions that we're hearing?
Yes, Angie Melazia asked again about the prices. So the book that's 95 cents is digital.
Yes.
And is the book form available? Are all the books on your website digital or paperback? I think she's asking if they're all available.
The digital downloads from our website are all PDF files. And so they're PDF, they're printable. You have permission to print them off. And that's the ebook version that we have available on our website. We also have some paperback books that we have available. And the digital will always, the ebook version or the PDF will always be cheaper than the print copies. So the print copies that we have are the Answer Book Devotional for Busy Families, the Answer Book Small Group Guide, the 40 Scriptures to Pray Over Your Children, and the Study Guide for the Kids Bible Book Memory Plan. Those are all
50% off?
Everything is 50% off. I was going to say those are all available in print copy, but I just remembered that I haven't set up the study guide yet to be print copy. So these are the 3 that are available for print copy. The Answer Book Small Group Guide, the Answer Book Devotional, and the Answer Book, and the 40 Scriptures to Pray Over Your Children. The digital downloads, everything else is available digital download. Several things are also available on Amazon. So like if you have a Kindle reader, there's a Kindle version available on Amazon for the Christmas study and these 3 that we also have in print. So those are on Amazon, not through our website. I believe that answers the question. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Other questions? Great.
It's tricky because the connection's a little spotty in our hotel. So
Yes.
we apologize and hope the replay is smooth.
Yes, we do.
And if you have questions after, you can still ask, right?
Yes.
Okay.
If you're in the Topics Homeschool Curriculum Fair, we are one of the vendors there, and my contact information is there. You can also, on any of our platforms, link to our website. There's a contact tab there, and those emails go directly to me. So you can ask me directly whatever you need to ask. Also, you can be commenting on these posts today as well. I believe we're still going to be watching these feeds through the rest of the day, and we could be answering your questions and comments there. I wanted to say thank you so much for giving us your time. Oh, I want to tell you why June 10th was our birthday. I nearly forgot. Oh! So, Parent Road Ministries started when I moved from Colorado to Oklahoma. I actually stepped away from my children's ministry position to be able to start Parent Road Ministries, which was really cool. And that happened 7 years ago. And we're not sure exactly when Parent Road started because it was kind of a process as to how we got started. So what we decided to do, my grandmother was a very godly woman. And I know she prayed for her entire family, and I know she prayed for me. And she and I were also very close. And so we decided her birthday is June 10th, and it would be very fitting to honor her by making our ministry birthday the same as her birthday. So that is why we picked June 10th. So I'm very glad you joined us today. Parent Road Ministries, like I said, our goal is to provide resources and Bible studies for busy families. And I love feedback. So as you're using these resources and checking them out, please let me know what you think so that I can incorporate changes or new ideas into future studies or even sometimes tweak what we've already done. I'm so glad you joined us. I'll see you next time, friends. Bear with us. We have 3 devices to turn off, so we will see you later. Bye.
Finish. My head. Gail had an idea for you.
Yes.